True Peace Kens federal judge overturns California 32-year-old assault weapons ban. And peep the slang. A federal judge in California on yesterday, overturned the state's 3-decade-old ban on assault weapons, which he called a failed experiment, prompting a sharp retort from the state's governor. California prohibited the sale of assault weapons in 1989. The law was challenged in a suit filed in 2019 against the state's attorney general by plaintiffs including James Miller, a California resident, and the San Diego County Gun Owners, a political action committee. The Judge Roger T. Benites of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California wrote that sections of the state's penal code that define assault weapons and restricted their use were hereby declared unconstitutional and shall be enjoined. Peep the slang. But the judge said he had granted a 30-day stay of the ruling at the request of Attorney General Rob Butler, a move that would allow Mr. Butler to appeal it. And peep the slang. Judge Benice wrote that the case was about what should be a muscular constitutional right and whether a state can enforce a gun policy choice that impinges on the right with a 30-year-old failed experiment. It should be an easy question and answer. Judge Benice, who was nominated by former President George Washington Bush, continued. Government is not free to impose its own new policy choices on American citizens where constitutional rights are concerned. Man, peep the slang. The judge wrote that the firearms banned under the state's laws were not bazookas, howitzers, or machine guns, but rather fairly ordinary, popular, modern rifles. In the state late Friday, Governor Gavin Newsom called the ruling a direct threat to public safety and the lives of innocent Californians. Mr. Newsom also criticized the opening lines of Judge Benice's decision, in which he wrote that, like a Swiss Army knife, the AR-15 assault rifle is a perfect combination of home defense weapon and homeland defense equipment. Man, peep the slang. The AR-15 re-entered the American gun market in 2014 after the end of a federal assault weapons ban. It has a national following among gun owners, but it has also been used in mass shootings and vilified by its critics as a weapon of mass murder. Mr. Newsom wrote that comparing the gun to a Swiss Army knife completely undermines the credibility of this decision and is a slap in the face of the families who lost loved ones to this weapon. Peep the slang in their statement. Mr. Bonner called Judge Benice's decision fundamentally flawed and vowed to appeal it. There's no sound basis in law, fact, or common sense for equating assault rifles with Swiss Army knives, especially on Gun Violence Awareness Day and after the recent shootings in our California communities, he said gun rights activists celebrated. Brandon Combs, the president of the Firearms Policy Coalition, a group in Sacramento that helped bring the lawsuit to court, said in a statement that the ruling held what millions of Americans already know to be true. Bans on so-called assault weapons are unconstitutional and cannot stand. Man, people saying Alan M. Golub, founder of the Second Amendment Foundation, another group that was involved in the lawsuit, said in a statement that the judge's ruling has shredded California gun control laws regarding modern semi-automatic rifles. It is clear the judge did his homework on this ruling, and we are delighted with the outcome, added Mr. Golub, whose group is based in Washington State. Man, peep the slang, bro.